we will use EBITDA, which is short for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. This is especially important if you're valuing a startup. Typically, they don't have they have very little interest payments because they're financed mostly by equity. Originally, they're not making much money, so not much taxes. And how much depreciation they have, which is a non-cash expense, may be different compared to the aspiration firm you're using for evaluation. So this is basically like a cleaner version. In terms of where to get that number, let's see. Yahoo actually calculates something called EV over EBITDA, but I have no idea how they're calculating. So I'm going to kind of do our own. Let me put it this way. If you think about it, that's EV over E. I'm going to call that ratio alpha. Given that earnings are affected by accounting methods, it may not be a bad idea to kind of calculate the average of those using past data. A few years back and average it. Remember, we're always forward looking, so we're trying to predict what the ratio of the average ratio of earnings over EBITDA is going to be. Since trying to predict depreciation and stuff for the future is not easy, how about use the past to approximate what that ratio will be in the future? For example, I'm just going to do for one of them. The nice thing about this approach is you already have EV over E, okay? Either 5-year or 1-year version. All you have to do is multiply it with that predicted ratio. Let's do this for Delta. Let's go to financials. I'm going to do it using the annual numbers. I'm sorry, income statement. As you can see, we have the last 4 years, okay? So I'm going to get the, where are you? Let me download all of these. I don't know why it's doing it that way. That is weird. Oh, download. Oh, I have to be a subscriber for that. Let me try to do it this way. No. I'm going to kind of make it somewhat easy. Net income to common stockholders. Copy. Paste. For EBITDA, operating income actually is not a bad idea. And now, let's get the operating income first. You can think of operating income as earnings before interest and taxes. So this is like EBIT. I'm going to call these non-cash expenses. You can actually find those under the cash flow statement. We have depreciation and amortization. Deferred taxes, not a bad idea. One-time charges. Sometimes they're big. Not gonna worry about that. Probably you should get these out too. Pension and employee benefits. I'm gonna put this under other. I'm putting it under scare quotes because the idea behind EBITDA is to figure out earnings that are cash-like. So I'm going to take the earnings. Oh, I'm sorry. Take the EBIT plus why is this? Oh, I have to explicitly make them zeros. Okay. Or a bit over E, actually. And let's take the average of those. 372. So which means as a first approximation, I would multiply the EV over E type ratios for delta by 372. For different companies, that ratio is going to be different. Ideally, you want to be really careful calculating that ratio. That's why I don't want to use Yahoo's numbers, because I have no idea how they're calculating it. I want to calculate a ratio that keeps the spirit of EBITDA. These are earnings. Obviously, depreciation is added back to EBIT, but things like deferred taxes, you know, they need to be added back. These are taxes that are accrued but not paid. Okay. Sometimes there are big-time one-time charges. This is probably 2020. One-time losses due to COVID that created negative deferred taxes or tax credits. And these are some other charges. That's how I would go about it. I'm gonna stop here because my stomach has been really killing me all day. I have to go home and get some medication. And on Wednesday, we're gonna basically extend this and figure out for a startup company, we're gonna predict, given certain forecast on sales stuff, we're gonna figure out how to predict the financial statements. Based on those, we'll figure out what those ratios are, and we will value those firms using those predicted financial statements and firms, aspiration firms, right? I'll see you guys Wednesday.